for the first time since assuming her new role as the senior advisor for the U.S. Agency for Global Media, an agency that may be going out of business soon. Who knows? She might have taken the job to shut it down for Team Trump. Our good friend, Kari Lake, back on the program. Kari, we have not seen you since Election Day, or actually Inauguration Day. So thank you for coming back on. I know it has been a busy couple of months. And you have a hard job, kind of like Linda McMahon. You guys took these jobs knowing that Team Trump and President Trump told you, yeah, we're looking to make major cuts. So how are you handling that, knowing that there's cuts coming to something that you're supposed to be helping to either figure out, should it exist, should it not exist?
Well, I always say that President Trump brings in people who aren't looking to become creatures of the swamp, and that's a good thing.
There we go.
We want people to come in and be in our government who don't want to make a career of being in the government. That being said, I'm here working on behalf of the Trump administration to scale things back. Take a look. We brought Doge in on my first week there. I brought a part of the Doge team in and said, we want to look at every penny that's being spent here and make sure there's no waste, fraud, and abuse of the American taxpayer. And what I've uncovered since I've been here is just a lot of rot. And frankly, I think a lot of corruption. I've said before, it's rotten to the core. I don't know that it is salvageable. And when President Trump put out an executive order on March 14th, I got busy implementing that and effectuating that executive order to scale this agency back down to its statutory minimum. You know how things are here in D.C. Somebody has a good idea, they find funding for it, they start up an agency, and next thing you know, it's growing, growing, growing. They never scale things back. So we're scaling it back to its statutory minimum, shrinking it down, and of course, you know, the lawsuits ensue. I think last count, we're at 5 or 6 lawsuits. I heard they want to put me in contempt of court. I mean, this is just crazy stuff.
What?
We're trying to let the president control the executive branch, as the Constitution says in Article 2, and a lot of these judges don't like that.
Oh, I bet. So scale back to the normal regulatory size that the government set when it first started your agency. Any idea, looking at the books only 60-some days in, Kari, how drastic that is, like how fat? Because I'm looking at like the Department of Education, for instance, right? Started in the 70s under Carter, I believe. There's no way that thing even resembles what it was 40, 50 years ago, right? I'm sure when it started, it had a couple thousand employees. Now we've seen the Department of Education is a beast and had offices that nobody was even using. They were wasting money. And I know you told me offline the other day that this global whatever media agency thing that you're running, they had offices and rooms and things nobody was even showing up to work for. They were just blowing money for no damn good reason, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, right away when I got there, and the administration before, the Biden administration, the leadership at USAGM signed a 15-year, burdened the American taxpayer with a 15-year lease and a bright, shiny private building, giving money to a private, organization or private company to rent a building and lease a building for $250 million when they had a building already. Now, could they have done some work on the old building? Of course they could have. But the new building that was $250 million wasn't even prepared, or there were no areas or we could do broadcasting. That would have to be built out. That would cost $100 million or more to do that. It's just an absolute waste. It's a slap in the face to the American taxpayer. I canceled that lease, and right now, pretty much the majority of the people in the agency are on administrative leave while we sort this out and we shrink this down to its statutory minimum and deal with a lot of lawsuits right now with the grantees. You don't hear a lot of talk about the grantees. You heard about NGOs, but the grantees are similar. About half, maybe a little more than half of our budget, which Congress appropriates, comes into the agency and immediately slides right into these grantees. And right now, we're trying to figure out where the money is going when it hits those grantees' bank accounts. Is it really going towards something that's a deliverable? Or is it going in places it shouldn't be going? We want to know where the money is going.
A kickback, a bribe, a payoff, a thank you. We know what government does, Kari. You and I know what they do. I think some of the American people are a little asleep at the wheel. They don't understand that this, like you just said, a big, huge grant blanket, let's say $100 million comes into an agency. And then the grants go out, 10 here, 50 here, 16 there, whatever it may be. Nobody tracks it after that grant's just handed out, do they? It's whatever agency gets it, they get to do whatever the hell with that grant money they want, and the federal government never tracks a penny of it. It could be paying off, it could be like Soros funding some of these damn protests where they're trashing Tesla cars, and we wouldn't have a clue, like USAID
Right.
paying frickin' for Politico. Why the hell
We
would
just,
USAID want to pay for Politico, Kari?
I mean, we're basically getting rulings that are saying pay the money or else. And my theory is we want to know where it's going. I mean,
Yeah.
with that theory, if we found out it was going to buy yachts and gold bars for somebody, and the judge says just pay it, don't ask any questions. I don't think that's what the American people want, Dan.
No.
They want to know where the money's going. And right now, they're trying to force us to pay their bills for April, and we said we don't even have an approved financial plan. So we're working expeditiously to come up with a financial plan, because the American people expect when they're working and writing a check to the federal government that money is not being wasted, and it has been wasted for decades.
Oh,
and
God,
now
yes.
it stops. We're going to
Amen.
figure out where the money is going, and we're going to call these people out. And that's what we're in the process of doing.
Love it. Final question, Kari, because I know you are swamped. You and I have been in the TV biz a long time, over 3 decades, both of us. So I think combined, we're probably at about 65 years experience, right?
Please don't age me. Please
No,
don't
it's
age me like
okay.
that.
We look great. It's fine, Kari. Look, you and I also grew up watching PBS and listening to NPR because we were in the news biz. And I appreciated what they did for decades. I didn't realize till the last 10 years how politically biased both of them were, though.
Ooh.
You know, right? Until they started trashing Trump, supporting the invasion, saying boys could be in girls' sports. Then I went, okay, sorry, screw them. But I wanted to get your take. Not only is this new title, but as a fellow journalist of 3 decades, what do you make of Trump saying, hey, you've been so biased, we may need to cut your funding altogether, NPR and PBS? Final question to you.
I just think if the taxpayers are paying for it, they shouldn't have to pay for anti-American propaganda to go out. And if that's what's going out, we shouldn't be funding it. And if they're so good and so powerful and so popular as they claim, then they should have no trouble when they do their, their week-long fundraising, networks that they put out on the various
the big
networks. They
telethons.
should have no problem.
Yeah.
The telethons, yes.
Yeah, remember
They
those?
should have
Yeah,
no
go
problem.
raise your own money then. Again, if you just stop being biased, then I don't mind if my tax money pays for good quality, neutral public programming like watching Sesame Street, like Bob Ross, like Mr. Rogers when you and I grew up. If you're doing that, then by all means keep taking our tax money. But
But
when
I
you're
think a
not,
lot-
screw you.
A lot has changed. The media landscape has changed. We're putting out messaging and narratives, and we're doing it in 1990s style TV in some cases, like at VOA, and the media landscape has changed. Do you think that China, when they're putting out their narrative on their global networks and TV, that they're actually doing 1990s style TV? No, they're using social media and digital to get their message and their narrative out there. We need to modernize and get with the modern world
go.
and stop funding something that is archaic.
Gotcha. So Kari Lake is going to take this Agency for Global Media. We're going to trim the damn fat. We're going to tighten those purse strings, and we're going to modernize what we broadcast under a Kari Lake leadership. Love it. Kari, thanks for coming on. I know you've been swamped.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep, take care.